Hello, everybody, and welcome to an edition of the Sixth League podcast. Very special edition today, where we've just witnessed the end of the Premier League season a few hours ago. A crazy ending regarding the race for top four. Leicester missing out, of course. But of course, every year at the beginning and the end, you have predictions, and at the end, you compare your predictions, and along with that, you choose your player of the year, your team of the year, who you think overachieved, underachieved. So today we're going to be deciding our team of the season for the Premier League. Let's just get straight into it, Abdul Rehman. First of all, I think you pick a formation and a manager.
That was difficult, Umar.
You know what? Let's
That's
not associate
difficult.
that. You know what? Let's go for the formation straight up. Yeah,
Okay.
formation.
Well, that's very difficult, Umar. How am I just gonna go straight up into the formation?
I mean, listen.
Like, you gotta have information with the players you have.
I mean, I'm sure you have a certain idea of the kind of
Mm.
formation. Like,
Well, I think
for me personally, I'm the kind of guy who likes to go for a 4-3-3 in these kind of things. So I think
Okay.
that's what I will be sticking with.
for me, in this certain situation,
Uh-huh.
given just the number of outstanding players,
Uh-huh.
right, in each department,
Uh-huh.
it's just always more difficult to judge defenders.
Okay.
Right? And there's always a lot of midfielders that grab the headlines.
Of course.
And strikers, there have been few this season.
Yeah.
So, with that logic, I'm going to go with a 3-4-3.
But see, that also includes stuff like your 3-4-3. Are those wide guys going to be wingers or
See,
wing backs?
they could be either, right? If you're Antonio Conte, you can play a 3-3-4.
Of course.
And
Of
those
course.
two of those fours could be
Fullbacks.
The fullbacks.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
He
fair.
still plays this formation, by the way.
Oh no, if it's Antonio Conte,
It's
he's never gonna
3-3-4,
change it. He's
yeah.
never gonna change it. So let's get into it. We start off with 3-4-3 here, 4-3-3 here. We start off with the goalkeepers. I've got a list of so when I made this list,
Yeah.
I had two things in mind.
Okay.
Obviously, the quality of performances this year. You know, they had to perform regularly, consistently. But game time was a very big issue for me.
Of
Obviously, with
course.
goalkeepers, you don't see that a lot. But as we go through defenders, midfielders, and forwards, you're going to see it more. Players who might have had fantastic seasons, but maybe missed half a season or even a third of a season might not be given as much praise or importance to in this as regards to someone who might have not performed as good, but performed for 38 games a year. You get me?
So basically, consistency.
Yeah.
Consistency
Yeah,
is key.
yeah.
I mean, they say consistency is key because
It is key.
it is the key.
Of course, with goalkeepers, you don't really have that issue. I have 5 nominees here.
Okay.
And the ones I've picked are Edison, Mindy, Schmeichel, Fabianski, and Pope.
Okay.
Let's walk through them one by one.
Sure.
Ederson, number 1. I think City, with the least goals conceded this season. I think Ederson got 2 assists this season. I mean, I know that shouldn't normally be a factor, but for a keeper,
Doesn't he get like a couple of assists like every season?
I don't know, but I think there were 2 this year, and that's just ridiculous. I mean, you can make a point for Alisson getting a goal this year. That's a whole different topic, but
I mean, yeah, that's like one off.
I left him out of this for this one, but I've gone for Ederson. I think he has been tremendous. He's obviously had a good defense in front of him, but you need maybe not the best keeper, but you need a voice at the back in front of that back four, and he has been that voice. He's commanded his box very well, and he's shown great leadership qualities.
Are you picking Edison based on his goalkeeping abilities or his abilities overall?
A mix of both, but that's just a nominee. I'm still undecided if I'm picking him or not. Let's
Oh.
just go through all of them first. That's
So you've
the
nominated me.
Yeah. Do you want to go with a nomination now, or should I just go with mine?
I think keep going.
Okay. Next one, I think obvious choice, Edouard Mendy.
Is there any bias involved?
No, I don't think so.
Are you sure?
Yeah, because that Chelsea defense, was crap before he came in. Let's be
Okay.
honest. They would concede every game. Even if Chelsea were 1-2-0 up, you weren't happy at all because you knew the opposition's gonna get one chance and they're gonna get one goal because Mr. T-Rex hand, 70 million T-Rex hands is not gonna keep it out.
Yeah, but are you like nominating him because, of how bad Kepa was?
No, no, not at all. Because there have been games where Mendy has single-handedly saved us. I'm gonna point you to that Leeds game that we had,
I don't recall.
the 0-0.
I don't recall.
It was 0-0. We didn't get 3 points.
Perhaps that's why I don't recall. It's always hard to judge. Like I said, it's always hard to judge defenders and goalkeepers for like something so broad and extensive, right?
Yeah.
Because, what's happening.
Mm. I just think that he's brought a stability in this defense. I feel Chelsea had the best defensive record since Tuchel came in, by the way, as well. So
Okay.
that's half of the season being the best defensive team. The other half, I think, even under Lampard, granted we were 8th by the time, or 9th by the time he got sacked, but especially in the first half of this season, the first half of the first half, so the first quarter,
half.
he was
Well, let me get my fraction kit out.
he was great. He was great, and Chelsea were competing for the league, and they were first
Yeah.
and second for a good month, or 6 weeks maybe. So I've nominated him. Third, I've gone for Kasper Schmeichel.
Okay.
We saw a blip today, but that has not been the case for the whole season.
I think that's like a one-off thing.
One-off.
With him. He's been a good keeper over the years, not only just,
He has been crucial since 2014 when they came in the Premier League. Every season you'd see him save them 3, 6, 9, 12 points, which at that time was enough to keep them in the
Keep
top
them up.
division. And
Yeah.
now it's enough to have them fighting for the top 4,
but missing out.
but missing out because of a blip.
As noted on, the
The previous
season review.
the previous podcast that you guys
The
are
one
gonna
that's
watch.
just uploaded. You guys are getting a lot of content these days.
Is this gonna go up today? I feel tomorrow, right?
If it's done, it goes up.
All right. Well, it's gonna be done.
Why
Sure.
wait?
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Why wait? And as we say, why wait for the podcast, we also say why wait for the next nominee, Lucas Fabianski at West Ham, 6th place finish, which is much better than anybody would have
Above
thought.
average.
Way above average for a club like West Ham. If you've got Diop, Cresswell, Dawson, who's the right back? Soufal. Okay.
Sheffield.
Okay, he's decent. Let's be Masuaku, left back.
Yeah.
You don't expect to be 6th. Let's be honest.
I mean, two of those defenders were like, Cresswell and Sufal. They were like one of the better performing defenders. And
Going forward. Going forward.
Going forward.
Going forward. Cresswell would obviously take the set pieces, the corners. He had a lot of crosses in. Soufal was solid. But generally, that's not some team that you'd associate. And you know what? Fabianski has been one of the best keepers in the Premier League. Not best necessarily, but definitely one who makes a lot of saves.
Yeah.
And he's always nominated, and I feel it's safe to nominate him. And finally, I've gone for Burnley's Nick Pope. Burnley are a team who are always defensive.
So they rely heavily on him.
They have great emphasis on their keeper and their defenders, and Nick Pope's always in there. Probably England's #1 choice as well at the time. Actually, for the last 2 seasons, I think he's been fantastic.
I think he's been up there for sure.
Yeah.
He's always been in and around the squad.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah.
I'd like to add one guy
Mhm.
on this list. Another ex-Arsenal keeper, Martinez. I feel like, his immediate impact on Aston Villa has been insane. And let's be fair, that guy's a visionary, right? He went from Arsenal saying, "I'm taking a step up," and he did for himself. He got so much game playing time, and where he ended up, it's impressive.
And I feel like just like Fabianski, these teams that are competing towards the top end of the team who aren't necessarily the big teams, their keepers have had to make a lot of saves. And I feel Martinez in every game he's played has made at least one crucial save. One save that you'd expect most keepers to, not make. And he's just been fantastic. He's been a great buy.
Wasn't he free?
No. He bought.
I felt he was either like very very cheap or
He was cheap. I think. Not even cheap. I think he was like 20 million. I think
that is not cheap for a keeper.
for Aston Villa. Let's say the team who you might not expect to be able to afford higher fees. I can't believe I completely missed out. Martin is on this list. He was gone from
Fantasy Premier League. I mean, in the Fantasy Premier League, I think he starts every game.
Yeah, I think he is everyone's keeper at this point.
If you were following the 2 house spot,
Areola as well, the nipple boy.
Areola. Well, but Fulham relegated.
Fulham, yeah. No. I mean the fantasy league, not the team of the season. Let's be fair. So, who would you say is your pick?
It's a tough one, to be honest.
Uh-huh.
And unlike Fantasy Premier League, we don't really have, what's his face, a constraint of price or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And just going on pure quality and consistency, and like you said, being a voice at the back.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, just like most pundits, just like most people, unless if they want to be that odd one out person, I feel like Edison would get it. And that's why I'd also go for Edison. And just because he's been consistent, I think he's the one with the most clean sheets, and obviously the clean sheets is just not down to him only, but yeah, it's, and even if he doesn't have that many outstanding performances where like Martinez, right? That's, in my opinion, I think the only guy that would rival him would be Martinez. Because Martinez has had games just dependent on him. Results just dependent on him. Ederson doesn't have that.
No. But he brings other qualities, so yeah, the qualities you'd expect a keeper competing for the Premier League to be a lot different.
Yeah, it's just that, like, I guess it's, the end product that we see as, like, consumers, right?
Yeah.
Edison has that leadership quality, organization of defense, right? Playing with different players all the time. For us, it might seem, how it is, the Pep roulette, but playing with different people in your back four is not always easy. So, yeah. And given how defensively strong Man City have been, at the start of the season, for the better, like in the resurgence, right? From September, October onwards.
Yeah, October, November, I think.
They were just grinding out 1-0, 2-0.
It wasn't the usual Pep 5-6
2-1 against Southampton, taking it to the corner flag.
Yeah.
It wasn't that.
It was ugly stuff.
It was ugly,
but it was
stuff.
Necessary.
And with that, I feel like you need a very, very strong keeper,
like
at the
mentally,
back.
Yeah.
And also one with a winning mentality. With his third Premier League.
Second or third
Premier League.
I think third, maybe.
I think third Premier League.
He's probably played for 4 seasons.
Yeah. So, Edison's my pick, but Martinez is very, very close behind him. It's, Martinez on the bench. Edison starts.
Martinez on the bench. Ederson starts. That's fair. I've gone for someone completely different. It was a blip today, but I think Kasper Schmeichel has been immense for Leicester. He is their captain, obviously, so he literally is the voice in the back. But I feel Leicester just don't get enough credit because it is incredibly difficult when there's like a complex in the Premier League of a big six. Okay, Arsenal and Tottenham might not be in there in recent years. They haven't been doing stuff, but they're still a top 4. There is still a top 4, and to even be challenging for that, not just for 1 season, but 2 now.
But 2 consistent seasons, yeah.
2 consecutive seasons. Like, it's not easy. And Schmeichel has been the voice at the back. He's been the leader in the back for since 2014, whatever. But he's definitely been their captain for the last 2, given that, earlier Wes Morgan used to be their captain, but he doesn't really play now. Retired today, by the way, last game.
Oh, okay.
But I feel like He doesn't
Yeah.
get enough recognition for the amount of effort and work that he's put into this Leicester team, taking them from technically at that time second division, mid-table, to now Champions League
Yeah.
competitors.
If you look at this Leicester team, right?
Mm.
There are very few players that are still alive and active
Mhm.
from that 2015 side.
Yeah.
You know, Jimmy Vardy up top,
Yeah.
and our boy Casper, the friendly
Friendly.
Schmeichel.
So I guess there we have it.
Who'd be on your bench?
Who'd be on my bench? You know what? Martinez.
Martinez. Why not Edison?
I think Edison's obviously been great. He was the first nominee that came to my mind,
Yeah.
given City's defense. But I just think Martinez has had a ridiculously good season. We all knew he's good.
He has, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And that FA Cup final last year against Chelsea, I remember he was wonderful, and I was like, I wanted him over Kepa.
Kepa.
And
I think the Kepa tax had you believing that you'd want 2 sticks with a watermelon.
don't disrespect the sticks and the watermelon like that. But no,
Okay.
what a signing he's been. I had high expectations of him, and I think he's exceeded them. And
Yeah.
he's just been fantastic. Aston Villa, especially 9th, I think. Fantastic. Or 10th, sorry. We move on to defenders. And now you said you want to play a 3 at the back.
I'm gonna play 3 back. If I play 3 fullbacks, that's up to me.
So let's just
It
go
doesn't
through.
have to be a playable starting 11.
I mean, it has to an extent. It does. I think you can't just throw on,
Put it in.
Trent, Shaw, and I don't know,
Why not?
Chilwell as your
Of course
three
you can.
centre backs.
The whole point of team of the season is just to put like the best defenders. Fine, if you make it fullbacks and stuff.
I think there's still got to be a certain element of
It's something. First of all,
Okay.
just going over the nominos
Uh-huh.
you got here. I'm just gonna go over them quickly. For the fullbacks, you got Walker, Cancelo, Soufal, Trent, Shaw, Chilwell, Robertson, and Castagna.
Mm-hmm.
Right, for the 2 fullback spots. For the center backs, you got Stones, Fofana, Dunk, Maguire, Ruben Diaz, Evans, and Thiago Silva.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you are forced to play 4 at the back,
Mm-hmm.
you'd have to pick 2 fullbacks and 2 center backs.
Which is exactly what I'm gonna do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
You can't pick 3 fullbacks, Abdul Rehman. If this
no,
is
I'm
where
not.
you're
I'm not
going
gonna
with
pick 3 fullbacks because
Okay.
there's one name that I think this season you cannot complete your team of the season with, or shouts of Premier League player of the season, and that man is obviously the Portuguese Fort Ruben Diaz.
Mm-hmm.
I think just talking about it more and more might just be useless.
Yeah. No.
Phenomenal season.
He's made
great signing.
He's made the 200 million defense look like a 200 million defense. What a player.
Or the 400 million defense looks like a 400. Well, 200 million starting defense.
The starting defense, yeah.
Um,
No, but like all jokes aside, he has been phenomenal.
he's been great.
Yeah. I think
I don't appreciate the Van Dijk comparisons. They are 2 different kinds of center backs. They're not the same time. Those guys approach the game very differently. Van Dijk positions him goal side and absorbs the play onto him.
Okay.
Asks the defender to beat him.
Yeah.
Whereas Ruben Diaz
Goes
is
at
more
it.
aggressive.
Yeah.
He gets the ball.
You
And
see Van Dijk.
statistically, it
yeah.
doesn't look nice, when you get to like dribble past and whatnot.
Yeah.
But the effectiveness in the game and whatnot it's massive.
Mm-hmm. I completely agree with you. I think Ruben Diaz is the first centre back on my team as well. Yeah, I don't think I need to add anything onto that. Now, for the other centre backs or full backs, what I don't know.
I'm gonna go in a more disorganized manner, and I'm gonna pick a fullback right now, because it's someone that's quite clear for me, and that's my man Luke Shaw. That guy's been phenomenal. He's like, ever since his Southampton days, I think this is his best performance. Right.
I saw a statistic which said he has created the most chances in Europe's top 5 leagues followed by
yeah,
Lionel Messi.
yeah.
What a player.
When you're crossing the ball a lot, you may create a lot of chances. So that's that.
No, but
But in all seriousness,
mm,
his effective play has been brilliant. They signed a fullback, you know, the Brazilian Tellez,
tell us.
and every United fan, and like others aside as well, every football fan thought that like
Tell us is there.
he was the main guy, and you know, Luke Shaw's gonna take the back seat,
Mm.
but that was not the case, and I think Luke Shaw's definitely deserved his spot there.
The potential that we heard that he has at Southampton, that one season that we saw, which earned him his big money move, we're now seeing it be fulfilled. I know it took like 4 years, 5 years.
I feel like it was a bit set back by the injury, and then he talked about it, the mental block that he had, the confidence block. You know, it takes a while. Sometimes it takes a couple of years, and it's the side of professional sports that we don't really get to see in depth of.
He is extremely injury prone. I think over the last 5 seasons, we haven't seen him play more than 4 games consecutively, and then stay in the team. No, he's always getting injured. He's always sometimes managers don't want to risk him, so they bring him off or bring him on as a sub. But Luke Shaw, he has been phenomenal defensively. Going forward, it's been very hard to beat him as well. We like to talk about the going forward scene, dribbling or everything, but it's been very tough to beat him. His reading of the play is very good. He might not necessarily be the fastest, but he reads play very well. And he's actually pretty fast, That's a bonus, but
he's actually, I feel like he's been faster this season than last season, if that makes sense.
No, it does. It definitely makes sense. I agree. I think it's just his ability to read the play, to know where the ball's going to be, that he just moves there a second quicker than the attacker, and he just seems a lot faster. Other name I want to throw in here for left, well, I don't really know whether to put him as left back because he's played centre back, right back, left back, Castagna for Leicester City. What a signing.
I feel like he's definitely earned his spot in the nominees. And completely makes sense. Like you mentioned, the guy can play,
Justin gets injured, he's out on the right.
Yeah.
Then he's actually left, and today, obviously, with injuries to centre back, he's playing centrally. And he does a very good job. He's very strong. He looks very composed on the ball. I know he's not young. He's not necessarily young, but he just looks very mature. And players coming into the Premier League, young or old, it takes them time to adapt. But he didn't take any time at all. He fits right into that Leicester team. And I think that team is built around players who are composed on the ball and who are very quick on their feet. And he's definitely in there for that, I think.
And he's done well. Definitely.
He's done well.
A great season for him.
Yeah.
And definitely will be showcasing his talents in the Europa League next season.
For sure.
I just can't help myself, can I?
So that's a centre back and a left back. You have one more defender, and I have 2 more.
I'll let you go first since you have 2 more.
All right.
So you do one, I do one, and then you do one.
I'm gonna go for a centre back.
Okay.
I went off injured today.
Fofana
Cried. Unfortunate. I do think players like John Stones, Harry Maguire, and Thiago Silva were 3 huge shots. I think all 3 of them had great seasons. But again, as we talked about Castagna coming into the league, especially at 19, and the way he's defended has been so mature, so composed.
Yeah.
He's been unbeatable at times. And if I'm being honest, we talked about Ruben Diaz being player of the year for sure, no doubt. But sometimes without the ball, Fofana has looked more in control at times compared to Ruben Diaz every time I've seen him, if that makes sense.
Fofana looks
very... Like, he looks like he's in control of the situation.
Yeah.
He knows where he's going to send the attacker.
He gives me a lot of Varane vibes. Like, that's how Varane, he feels like he has the
perfect
control.
Replacement?
Which way? Fofana's leaving, Varane's going to replace him, or...
Swap deal, why not?
Swap deal?
Yeah.
At this point, 6 years younger, why not?
Yeah.
7 years younger, might as well. 8 years younger. The time
I think Varane's 27.
27, yeah.
Fofana's 80 years.
8 years more of a football. Yeah.
Wow, brilliant. Varane has had 8 years at the top level at
Yeah.
Madrid now. So, I do want to mention John Stones, especially. I think Maguire and Thiago Silva as well, of course, great seasons. But John Stones is a player who came in 2016 for a price tag of 50 million, and we all thought, what's going on over here? The season before, Everton offered him for Chelsea for 40 million, and they
Yeah,
rejected.
they
They're like,
rejected
no,
it.
no way, and rightfully so. And I think 50 million for Stones was ridiculous, and it has taken him 5 years. He has not lived up to the potential, and I still think that Ruben Diaz coming in has helped him a lot. But what a
Yeah,
player
of
he's
course.
been! What a player!
I think he's shown great improvement.
Most improved, arguably, in the Premier League this
Yeah,
season.
if we make a most improved player award, I think he'd be up there for sure.
For sure.
And it just shows just like Luke Shaw, he never gave up to and just kept going. I think he's on the plane. He's on the plane.
Yeah, he's starting. He's starting.
He's starting.
Starting.
He's not. He's just not on the plane. He's starting.
He's starting. He's gonna play three center backs, and those are gonna be Walker, Stones, and Maguire.
It's Walker, Stones,
Yeah.
Maguire.
Which now leads us to your third center back, Abdul Rehman.
Or third defender.
Oh, third
Not
defender.
necessarily center back.
I think I know where this is going.
Well,
A certain Portuguese.
I've been thinking about it.
Uh-huh.
And to be honest, Cancelo had a bad end of the season,
Bad beginning of the season as well.
but in the middle he had this
He-
amazing time. So I was thinking maybe I should go with Cancelo, especially given the fact that not similar to Castagna, but Cancelo's played both right back and left back, and as a right back, for the longest time he was just occupying the left back spot ahead of Zinchenko and Mindy,
Yeah.
even when they were fit.
Even
Which
when they
just
were
shows the quality this guy possessed. But then again, you look at Maguire's impact,
fit. Yeah.
especially after that 6-1 debacle against Spurs, how he managed to grip himself, and
Another game, maybe game of the season, Tottenham United.
I just feel like that didn't have that much of an impact.
Okay,
But
fair play.
yeah, Fofana's another good shout, like you mentioned. Stones we mentioned, but for me, I don't think, just because we talked about consistency and playing so often, and for Man City, right, Stones and Cancelo get cancelled out because of that, because
Yeah.
they haven't played.
Even Walker at times, to be honest.
They haven't played the biggest of the games and whatnot.
Of course.
Unlike Ruben Diaz, right, who's
Yeah.
been their go-to player. So for my third and final defender, I think I'll go for Fofana.
Fofana.
Yeah, just because he reminds me of Varane. Of course, that's not the only reason, but
Yeah.
also because just his performances in big games
Yeah.
for a 19-year-old. He's French. That's why he's not getting a lot of the credit he deserves.
If he was a different nationality.
I feel like if he had, red stripes with a white background, then Manchester City would be bidding 80 million for him.
yeah.
For him.
No, I completely agree.
With that, but in all seriousness, we talk about 19-year-olds just having a couple of good games. John Stones, right,
Yeah.
had it, got his transfer the very season,
Yeah.
just because he knew how to string up two passes from center back. That was the qualification, right? He was a ball playing center back. Fofana can do so much of this, and he can defend.
And he can defend exactly. Yeah.
So the other shout I would give for for Maguire and Thiago Silva. Maguire, he's been an unsung hero in all the Bruno Fernandez, Rashford, Cavani, Pogba. They've been great, but Shaw as well.
Yeah.
But I feel like Maguire,
Harry
he's gone
Maguire.
under the radar,
For
and
sure.
unfortunately, he's going under the radar once again. but just right behind.
How does
Fofana.
the radar miss him? He's so huge.
Yeah, but It's good to see him, like, because definitely
There were doubts about his
80
price
million,
tag and
that's
whether he's worth
that's not
it.
a small
A
price
panic
tag.
buy, but no,
Yeah,
he's
so
maybe
you can tell the difference between the United defense when he plays and
when it's just Lindelof and Bailly.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like he is United's best centre back, despite his weaknesses.
Yeah.
But perhaps it's that. Perhaps it's those not so confident moments.
Mm.
Moments where he's, let it slip.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'd go for Fofana, but Maguire and Thiago Silva would fall up very close.
I just want to give a shout out to Thiago Silva and Johnny Evans here. Two extremely experienced defenders. Obviously, one played in PSG for the last 8-9 seasons. I don't know.
Yeah, since 2011.
2010 years.
10 years.
And of course, now 36 years old, coming to the Premier League, he has revolutionized this Chelsea defense. His reading of the play has been second to none. And I just feel like if we had gotten him maybe a couple seasons before, this guy could have been the real deal in the Premier League.
Yeah, but how would you gotten him a couple of seasons before?
No, I'm just saying, like, if
He
he
was
had
a-
come...
He's not David Luiz that was just gonna go back and forth.
No, there's no going back to PSG. Just come to Chelsea and stay, you know? And
What
then
was up with that, by the way?
Mourinho wanted to get rid of him. So he did. In his... he played in the first season under Mourinho.
As DM as well.
As DM mostly, yeah. And then Mourinho sold him. And then 2016 came. Conte gave a list. And target number 1 gone. Target number 2 gone. Target number 3 gone. I think Luis was target number 5. Panic buy on deadline day. Came back. And I guess Brazilian players, I don't know, there's a certain attraction for them in London to move to London. I guess he enjoyed that lifestyle.
Well, Paris to London, London to Paris. I don't think that's bad at all.
That's
so
not bad
who'd
at
be
all.
your fourth choice? Well,
My,
I would say right back at this point, right?
See, I think because of that consistency issue, we have to eliminate Walker and Cancelo right there. Cancelo plays 38 games and he's in there. He's the first name, definitely, I
Yeah.
think. There are 2 fullbacks, Trent and I think Reece James, who've had on and off seasons. But I'm going to go for Soufal from West Ham.
Okay.
I think this West Ham defense has gone under the radar all season. And Soufal's not the best defender when it comes to crosses, when it comes to passing. But one thing he does have is his ability to tackle. And he reminds me a lot of Ashley Cole in the sense of his last-ditch tackles.
He relies on that, like,
Yeah.
getting to the ball at the very
At the very end. The
moment.
the attacker does get past him, but then he gets the ball back. And he's put in a very solid shift for West Ham. And he has been crucial. He has been one of the first names on the team sheet for them. Again, just like Fofana, I mentioned first, and Ruben Diaz, first season in the Premier League, but he's been fantastic. And I wanted to give it to him.
Okay.
I feel like
Well
he deserves
deserved.
the recognition.
Yeah, well deserved.
He's
I would
gone a
say.
bit under the radar.
One defender for your bench.
One defender for my bench. This is tough. Just for his versatile nature, I'm gonna go for Castagna.
Castagna?
Yeah,
I'm gonna go with Cancelo.
Cancelo.
Because
That's fair.
I felt like
He was a bit too good to just completely leave out. I understand that.
yeah, but
Mm.
then again, he's been on the bench. Especially this last moment, right? So
yeah, that's fair.
yeah.
That's fair.
now moving on to the midfielders. You've picked 3. I picked 4. So I'll go first.
But your 4, does that also include wingers? Because the wide players.
3-4-3.
Mm.
So 3 has
Okay.
can
Okay.
incorporate wingers and
all right.
wingers and forwards are the same category.
Yeah. What we do know for certain is that you'll at least pick 2 midfielders, and I'll at least pick 3 right now. Because you'll have 2
I'm not
central
gonna pick
midfield-
4 wingers.
No, I know.
I'm not Antonio Conte.
No. I thought maybe the front 3, instead of one striker and 2 wingers, you might be opting for 2 strikers, like Brighton do.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Or 3 strikers.
All right.
But all in all,
Midfielders.
midfielders.
Let's go for the holding midfielders first.
Okay.
I've come across 5 names. You might want to add some. Rodri, Calvin Phillips, Suchek, Conte, and Ndidi. And then for more central or attacking midfielders, I've gone for Gundogan, Bruno, Mason Mount, Tielemans, Bernardo, Grealish, Dallas, and De Bruyne.
Dallas is also a defender.
He's been playing in
He's
midfield.
been playing midfield for the half of the season at
majority,
least.
at least, yeah.
Okay.
And De Bruyne, even though I know he's been playing false nine, I've opted for the midfield role instead.
Yeah,
you can flip him around if you want.
false nine. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
False nine.
False
it
nine.
means he's incorporated in the midfield there.
Yeah.
For my holding midfielder, I narrowed that down to 3. Rodri, Suchek, and Kante.
Not Ndidi.
No.
Okay.
Because Ndidi's been good, but he
makes too many mistakes. I feel.
Not only that he makes too many mistakes, but he's a good pace and power player. He gets there, and makes that interception. But then, like, more often than not, it's not dependent on him. He's just he's not the heart of the midfield that the team can rely on.
Okay, that's
fair.
If
I'm a central midfielder, and I know Ndidi's behind me, I'm also chasing back.
Okay.
Whereas if like Kante or Suchek is behind you, or even Rodri in this season, right?
But with him, it just feels like sometimes when you watch him tackle, when he tackles, he just grows an extra 3 inches on his legs or something.
Yeah, his tackling is insane.
It's ridiculously good.
But then after that,
plays a 5-yard pass.
Heavy touches and everything.
No, I completely agree.
He's a great tackler. If I went to go for tackler, probably him. But I'm not going for a tackler.
No.
I'm going for a holding midfielder, and I like my holding midfielders to do more than just tackle.
Yeah, that's fair.
And Kante, Suchek, and Rodri are 3 that have done it. For me, this is very tough. Like all these decisions, but I think I'd go for Suchek. He's been a box to box kind of defensive midfielder, right? And he's someone that's like come out of the blue and risen up on the scene. With Kante, with all due respect to him, right, he's had a great revival season, and we've seen some of his tremendous performances, but his best performances haven't come in the Premier League. They've come in the Champions League. I felt like he's often been saved for those games, or he's been worked around.
Had injury issues as well.
He's had injuries as well. So, but due to consistency and whatnot, he lacks out. With Rodri, if we were doing this podcast in game week 30, 32, 34, I would have said Rodri. But just at the last of the season, a 36-year-old Fernandinho has displaced him. So that's why I feel like I'm going to go with Suchek.
Suchek also reminds me of Nemanja Matic and Mourinho.
He does. A faster Nemanja Matic. Suchek's actually got a little
more of a threat as well with the headers. Matic wasn't that much of a threat.
Suchek's, mind my words, but a better Nemanja Matic. He's faster. Maybe Matic's reading of the game is better.
I was going to say just his general ability to position himself and maybe even tackling a bit better, but Suchek is definitely
as overall player, like I mentioned, I like my players. If I was going for defending only Ndidi, but otherwise I think Suchek,
You've completely ignored Calvin Phillips.
Great guy, definitely, and
fantastic
great player. Scored an amazing free kick again today. But
I didn't.
He scored a free kick for Leeds United as well. I didn't ignore him.
Yeah.
He missed out a chunk of the season, and his importance to Leeds United is second to none. I think he might be their most important player. He went out injured and they lost so many games. Right. That's when, like, after the initial, purple patch of Leeds United, it just went all grey, and that's when because they were missing Calvin Phillips. And I think he as important as he's been to Leeds United, the whole team defends, the whole team attacks. He's the only midfielder virtually that's left. And that's why I feel like his importance is highlighted so much. But if you were to look at the whole Premier League and you were to pick the best
Holding midfielder.
Holding midfielder. I don't think
that's fair.
he would make the cut.
Might be biased, but I don't care. N'Golo Kante. That guy makes it.
Completely understandable.
Yeah. I mean, I know towards the end of the season, we tend to focus on the second half, and I probably am doing that right now.
Yeah.
Because in the first half of the season, under Lampard, he looked finished.
I mean, we had this conversation. We were like, who's replacing him?
Yeah, he's gone, but apparently not. What a guy. I don't think there's much you can say about him, to be honest. You know what you're getting.
Yeah, I mean, his
N'Golo
revival has been insane.
Insane. So now your other midfield.
Okay, my other midfielders. Well, I'm gonna go with De Bruyne. Just because of the role he's played. He's been literally jack, like, you know, of all trades, and wherever he's played, he's also been the master of them.
Yeah.
Whether it's been at number 9, whether it's been center midfield, whether it's been like on the right hand side, and always, like, you know, he is the quote unquote face of the Premier League right now, and no team of the season would be complete without him.
Yeah, for sure. I'm just gonna ignore every other name on that list, or is anyone else coming into a different position?
It's just that KDB is so ahead of the rest.
Okay, that's fair.
In the list and in the names.
That's fair.
So it's just KDB and everyone else.
Yeah.
So right now we talk about KDB and put his name down, and when it gets to contentions, then we talk about the others.
I completely agree with everything that you've said about KDB. One of my 2 midfielders has to be him. I'm not going for the striker role for him, the false 9. I'm going to keep him in midfield.
I feel like that's like a little bit of tinkering.
Yeah. Claudio Ranieri used to tinker and he won the Premier League, so why not?
Oh, legend.
For my second midfielder, I'm a little confused because if it wasn't for his injury, I think Grealish would be my option here.
Yeah, but he missed so much.
More than a third of a season.
He missed so much.
Yeah.
You can't... Like, the problem with Grealish is that you look at Grealish and Mason Mount, right?
Yeah.
Mason Mount's played, like, what? Nearly every single game?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. Grealish has missed such an important... He's missed more than a third.
Maybe half, right?
He's missed, like, about half of the season.
Okay.
When you're playing half of the games, and he had a great start.
Unbelievable up until his injury, you know? And even
the
last
rules
2
were
games,
different back then.
Yeah.
So... you can't really just rely on that.
I've got 2 honorable mentions here, Tielemans and Bernardo.
Okay.
Both have had excellent seasons. Bernardo is like a machine. He's like a further forward Kante, basically, in my opinion. Tielemans as well, key in that Leicester City midfield, picking out the right passes, you know, short, long, whatever it is. But in the end, this position boils down to 2 players, and that's Bruno and Mason Mount. Probably player of the years for both the clubs, don't you say? Mason Mount for sure at Chelsea, but Bruno as well, I think, given that Cavani...
I would say so, yeah.
Maybe Shaw arguably would be competition for Bruno, but I don't know. I'm stuck at this one. I want to pick Mason Mount, but just for his numbers, I feel like Bruno has to be in this team. That revival that he's led of United from last season, over the last 18 months now, has been insane. And not many midfielders or players in general would have been able to do that. And his impact on the team, he's a midfielder, but his impact is a lot like Mo Salah. He leads the line for the press. And he's he's always on. He's slower, but he's always on you.
And it's the energy, and it's just a term that's been glossed over so quickly, you know, that he's very passionate, but like it's just more than that. He's smart with it. He's smart with his energy. He's not a headless chicken. You know, there are some players that just run, you know, and commentators and fans alike would be just like, oh, he gives it all. He leaves it all on the pitch and whatnot. Yeah. But with Bruno, he actually knows what he's doing. He doesn't go for every single ball. He only goes for those.
The ones he's gonna.
For those, there's a chance. And he's for a guy who just came in last year. He's in like an automatic top 3 leader in the team, more so than like some of their captains.
We talk about players adapting when they come from foreign leagues. This guy has not only adapted, he's taken the league by the scruff of its neck, and he's like, I'm the boss here. You know what I'm thinking? Since Bruno and Mount have both also played right-hand side, I'm thinking, what if I keep one in midfield and put the other one on the right-hand side?
Oh, well, you can do that if you want.
But there's so many other tasty players. Okay, for now, midfield, we've got Bruno, Kante, and De Bruyne for me. For Abdul Rehman, we've got Souček and De Bruyne.
Yeah.
Now we're going to go for your two wing-back/wingers, whatever you want to choose, wide
Well,
midfielders.
That's the beauty, right? They can be inverted midfielders as well. I could push out De Bruyne out wide. Souček could be playing cam for all that matters. But my next pick is going to be Bruno Fernandez.
Okay.
Just because of the countless reasons.
Mm-hmm.
We just talked about it and we went over it. And I think that's like a no-brainer.
No-brainer.
So he makes up my 3.
Okay. And there's still one more.
Oh, you want me to go now?
Yeah, I'm done with my midfield. Let's go to the forward positions or winger positions.
So for my 4th one, it's a close one.
Mm.
But what I'll do is I want to play one of Son or Rashford.
Left wing back. Wait, Son did play left wing back under Mourinho.
Yeah,
why not?
and also Rashford. He plays as a left midfield in the 4-4-2.
Yeah, no, of course.
Both of them have had great seasons.
Mm-hmm.
I think Son's season's been better.
Definitely.
In terms of productivity. There was a time in the beginning of the seasons where he scored 10 goals from unexpected goals of 3.
Yeah.
That's insane.
That's ridiculous.
And sure, he didn't keep it up, but second best Tottenham player.
He was phenomenal, and then he had a small dip, but he was still playing, obviously.
He was consistent. He kept...
And towards the end of the season, he's been great again, by the way.
As soon as everyone's been fit.
Yeah.
So,
Heung-min Son, fair shout.
Son on the left-hand side. So that's Son, KDB, Souček,
Bruno.
and then Bruno.
That's a very, very decent team. So that's your midfield done?
Yeah.
My midfield done. All right. I'll start with my wingers first, because I'm going to go on this debate. On the left side, there is Son and there's also Rashford. And I agree. I'll put the same player on my left-hand side, Heung-min Son. He's cutting into Flicky Flacca 11 team of the year. But Rashford needs to be given a shout out here.
For sure. Because he's had like an insane season too. His
passing ability has just... It was good, but now it has just gone like 2 levels ahead.
Smarter.
It's
not that his like the physical ability has improved. He's always had the ability to hit the ball well. I think it's just to plan those 2 steps ahead.
Yeah.
How you're gonna pass it, who's gonna be making those runs, linking up with other teammates.
Cavani's addition has helped him a lot. Him making those runs
for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Just felt like he deserved a shout out here. I guess other left wingers I've included here are Jack Harrison and Phil Foden, but Phil Foden with the same problem first half of the season.
What's it called? It's not just about first half of the season, but
City's
if he had played more than 25 games, I would have I think he rivals Son for that spot
for
too.
Sure, 100%.
But just because they got 500 players and they can play whoever they want, so.
Raheem Sterling, not even getting a shot in the City team. Just ridiculously talented. So that's my left winger done. Let's do your left forward now.
Okay. I'm going to start with my right forward.
Oh, okay.
Because I haven't decided who's my left forward going to be. But my right forward is going to be Mahrez.
Okay.
I mean, arguably City's top 3 players. He's been a consistent performer in attack, especially when they've lacked goals.
For sure.
Salah comes close.
Salah comes very close.
But I just feel like whenever teams do well, their top players get all the
plaudits,
praise.
Yeah.
But when they do not so well, I feel like their top players also take some slack.
Mm.
Salah, we just like we talked about in our previous podcast.
Be sure to check it out. It's up now.
Perhaps it's because of burnout.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps it's because of other reasons, but just for his own standards, he's not been the same. He's not had that finishing ability. He's not been able to get just one-on-one square to the goal, putting it on the far left corner.
Yeah.
He just hasn't been able to do that. Even today, he missed a couple of chances. So he's got a lot of goals and he's been arguably Liverpool's best player. But I don't think he deserves to be in the team. On the other hand, Mahrez, I think this is his second best season in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Right after that Leicester one.
Mm.
So, that just says in that season he was PFA Player of the Year.
Yeah.
So if this is his second best season, then I mean
he's not far off.
He's not far off.
The problem I think with Mahrez, I wouldn't have him in my team, is as fantastic as he's been up until December. He wasn't a regular starter.
He wasn't a regular starter.
No one had him. You know this. No one had him in his fantasy league because Pep would play him one game, bench him twice.
I think the problem with Mahrez in fantasy Premier League is that it's just that it's City forwards, right?
No, I completely understand. Yeah. But I don't know. We've talked about consistency in terms of starting games, and Mahrez for sure. In my opinion, Mahrez has been Player of the Year. Given all the players in their prime this season or their peak form, Mahrez has been number one for me.
Yeah.
I just don't think, based on consistency, he makes my team.
Consistency of performances are there though.
Performances,
many times, he
even when he comes off the bench.
He score a brace and
Pep doesn't start him and he gets 12 points in fantasy, and you're thinking, what's going on?
I think in that case, it's not that his performances have been poor. Yeah. Even when he's not starting, he's coming off the bench.
Yeah.
The thing is, it's a luxury you can give the attacking players that you can't give defensive players.
But I do want to add one thing. City fans were calling for his head up until November. They were like, he has been crap. I think we're being blinded towards the end of... It's a bit more than 8 games.
It's 8 games.
I think it was 12 games when City were 7th after 12 games played. Which is a third of the season, pretty much. We've excluded Grealish from these conversations simply on that rule.
Grealish missed 15, 16 games.
And Mahrez played 12 games. He played maybe 4 or 5 of those, and he was crap. And City fans were asking him to be sold, never mind dropped at that point.
City fans think they can sell and buy anyone. You're forgetting that too.
That's because they can't sell and buy anyone.
They were selling because they were freeing up for Messi at that point. Think ahead of the curve. Okay, yeah.
Mahrez.
But when you look at okay, that's fair.
Yeah,
I agree.
In my opinion, best winger in the Premier League. I don't have him in my team simply on the games and consistency basis. Yeah.
But when you look at City's rise, you look at the players involved. He's there.
He's there. No, for sure, he's there.
You see, since they're onwards, right? He's there. So it makes complete sense.
No, I completely understand. It's fair. So your right forward is Mahrez. I was contemplating Mohamed Salah. Obviously,
fair shout.
Yeah, obviously he's got to be in there. He definitely plays every game every year.
Yeah.
He starts 38 games a season. I mean, come on, and he gets the goals too. Before this game week, he was on level with Harry Kane at 22 goals. Obviously, Kane scored today and won the Golden Boot. But after our midfield talk, I've gone with Mason Mount. Sorry, Mo, you're sitting this one out. Mason Mount, congratulations, Chelsea's Player of the Year. You're into the team. He's just been great. We thought he's Frankie's boy, but now he's Tuchel's boy. He's everybody's boy. Yeah. He has been so
interesting.
That little touch he takes, the Mount touch.
Today he missed a sitter, by the way.
Oh, I know, the one on his left foot.
Yeah,
his left foot.
Still, it was
I understand.
10 yards out of goal.
No, we missed a lot of sitters today, not just that one. To be fair,
he should have scored that.
No, he should have. But then again, you could make the same argument about Salah. He should be on 30 goals a season, 35. Yeah,
that's what I'm thinking. Like I said, the problem with Salah has been that he's just not been Salah. In the beginning of the season, he was very early on in the season.
Yeah,
and then just
once he posted a certain picture on social media,
just right before that, in fact,
and
then afterwards it's just been
Yeah.
downhill for him. So
So for me, on my right hand side, I've got Mount, and left I've got Son. Abdul Rehman has left Son, and now right Mahrez, which
Son
leaves.
is in my midfield.
Oh, Son is in his midfield. Sorry. So now
So
he has
my
a left
my
forward
left winger
and
and
a
my
striker.
striker.
Let's go with your left winger first.
I don't think there's a lot of surprise for the striker, to be honest.
No, there really isn't.
So for my left winger, this is very very tough, and it's so tough. I've considered playing a 3-5-2.
If you're Antonio Conte, a 3-3-4.
Oh, why not a 3-5? But also I've thought about like giving the spot to a defender as well,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought of it all around. But in the end, it's been tough. But I know they got relegated. But is Pereira? Can Pereira make the team? It's between Pereira and Rashford. For me,
Yeah. Rafinha?
he was in and out and injured, and never got more than 4 or 5 games under his belt in a row.
Yeah.
I want to give it to Rashford just because,
The relegation aspect?
not just because of the relegation aspect, but Rashford's,
He's,
a dependable player.
very
if tomorrow
consistent.
you're picking a team,
Yeah.
just a random team against aliens, and they're just from the Premier League.
Remember when there was that thing where those aliens?
Samsung?
Yeah.
Samsung advertisement. Yeah, just basically just like that, right?
Yeah.
You have that advertisement going on, and you're playing that. Do you play Matthew Pereira or Rashford?
You'd pick Rashford, I
You'd
think.
pick Rashford.
But Pereira deserves a shout out here.
He is very, very close, especially these last 10 game weeks. Despite, I felt like he knew that they were getting relegated.
He didn't
despite
stop.
playing against,
Yeah.
despite playing under Big Sam.
Big Sam.
he still pulled out madness.
Is he the best attacking player you've seen? Like a winger or creative player under Big Sam? You think of his...
I don't think that's like a big list to go on anyways. You could put 10 defenders. If you could.
Who was it? Matty Phillips. Close rival.
I feel...
But no.
Foden, again, we just talked about it.
Consistency.
So close, but didn't play most of the games.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, if we're taking out Mahrez for consistency, Foden, right?
Yeah, for sure. No.
So for me, it has to be Rashford with what's it called? Salah on the bench. Just so you can play both wings as well.
That's fair. And which midfielder on the bench?
Ooh, midfielder on the bench. I would go for Grealish.
Okay, so I like this option. We have 5 players on the bench. We've chosen a keeper, a defender, 1 central midfielder, 1 winger, and
4 players. 4 players on the bench.
Only
defender, midfield,
4?
striker,
Okay.
forward.
Okay.
So
Winger as well. Okay, okay, that's fair. So who's your midfielder on the bench?
Grealish.
Grealish.
Because if he's on the bench, he doesn't have to be consistent, right?
Yeah.
He just has to be dependable whenever he's called upon.
100%, I agree.
And I feel like, if I'm bringing on a sub and I want to change a game, with all due respect, and Didi and Dallas aren't going to do me much, but I think Grealish is going to be the person.
That's fair. I completely agree. I think Grealish goes on my bench too. So 1 position left. I think this was probably the easiest position to choose.
So why is Bamford?
No. I'll tell you why. So I've chosen basically 4 nominees here.
We all know the position and we know who the striker is. Who is it and why is it Bamford?
Great left foot. Great left
foot.
Chelsea youth product. I had to be biased,
Okay.
No,
I
but
thought because he captains himself in the Fantasy Premier League.
Oh, that too. We've both gone for Harry Kane, obviously, Golden Boot, Playmaker Award, number 1, whatever. But basically, the nominees I've put here, there are 4. Kane, Bamford, Calvert-Lewin, and Vardy. And the reason I went for these 4, consistency basis.
They're English? Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, that... No passport bias here. I'm not immigration office.
Immigration office.
Obviously, there were great other shouts as well. But, again, it was all about how often did they play. There were a lot of time constraints, I feel. And these 4 were consistent starters throughout the whole season. Do you remember any of them being injured for more than 2 games? I think Calvert-Lewin had like a 2-game injury.
I think Kane had like a 2-game.
Okay,
But like
when
that's just
yeah,
that's two game,
that
3 games.
three games. Yeah,
I don't think those are too off. But your point is so right. Like
yeah,
for their teams,
yeah.
every single one of these players have been so crucial.
So reliable.
You look at Vardy for Leicester.
Mm.
Vardy went out injured for a couple of games,
Mm.
and they managed to patch up that with Iheanacho and all.
Yeah,
But visually on the pitch, if they were playing some tougher games,
Vardy.
I don't think that would
Yeah,
have been possible.
yeah.
Calvert-Lewin for Everton.
Unreal.
Yeah,
Unreal.
we were just talking about him in our previous podcast. Watch that first. And Bamford for Leeds.
Yeah,
Yeah.
watch that 2-hour podcast, and then if you have a third one spare, watch this.
For another hour.
I mean, if you're here, you're already watching this, so
well done.
well done. Congratulations.
But and then there's Kane.
There's Kane, Harry Kane.
I mean, but just Golden Boot,
yeah.
Playmaker Award.
I mean, at one point it looked like he's gonna break the assist record
Yeah.
with the Son Kane relationship up
Son-Kane
until
relationship.
November or something.
Yeah. So I think
I'm-
who'd you put on the bench? Or are we not doing strikers? Let's do strikers. Which striker are you putting on the bench?
I think I'm gonna put Salah on the bench.
You're gonna put someone.
He's
on
the
bench?
forward I have.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
But if I had to pick out of these 3, I think Calvert-Lewin. Simply because of
not
the
Vardy?
fact, because
wins
Vardy.
you
No, because
VAR.
huh?
This
I love
this
Vardy.
This guy doesn't want Vardy.
For the
VAR.
longest time, I was saying Vardy is top 2 strikers in the Premier League or top 3. The
mean,
reason I
yeah,
don't put
but-
Vardy right now is simply because when Kelechi had that great form, Vardy had to accommodate for him playing out wide.
Oh, yeah, but makes sense.
It makes sense.
Iheanacho is more of a
It-
like
central, yeah,
out of the box,
yeah,
like
no.
in the box.
I get that,
Striker.
but simply for that, I think Salah more central. I'm going with him for the forward role, if that makes sense.
Salah can play there.
Yeah.
Too,
So
Well,
you?
I already said Salah.
Okay,
Yeah.
That's fair. Yeah.
And makes complete sense. So just to recap,
Mhm.
my team's.
Wait. No. We need manager.
Ooh, manager.
I haven't picked out any nominees, so we're gonna think of these on the spot.
Okay.
Of course, Pep Guardiola has to be an option. I think
Okay, Ole.
Ole has to be an option.
Yeah.
Klopp with his injuries has managed to take Liverpool third. Has to be an
Does
option.
Tuchel get a shout out?
For consistency basis, we've talked about consistency
Okay.
this whole time. I
Brendan
don't think so.
Rodgers.
Well, 100%.
David Moyes.
100%. Bielsa?
Bielsa, perhaps he finished ninth
No.
with Leeds.
I feel like he won the Manager of the Year award or finished in the top 3 nominees, like for UEFA or something. So I think that makes up for that. We can kick him out of this. You won your
Makes
award,
up.
mate.
That was in 2020 though.
Yeah,
That was 2020 award.
he got
This is
them
a season
promoted.
award.
No, I know, but he got them promoted that year, right?
Yeah.
And you never see a second division manager get that.
Do you think Graham Potter?
No.
No.
Brighton have been amazing going forward, but they're 16. They conceded a
Yeah, but
ridiculous
that's
amount of goals.
because they don't know how to finish either.
That's true, but no, I don't think
Okay.
so. I feel
Fair enough.
16th is just
Okay. Who'd be your manager of the season?
you go first.
It's a tough one.
Yeah.
But my three short lists.
Mikel Arteta.
Oh please. I don't
This
even
team
think.
of the year
I
is
don't
gonna
even
be
think
competing for the
Arsenal.
Conference League.
I don't even think
Arsenal fans would be picking
Arsenal
it.
fans would be. Picking.
Um,
Yeah, this team obviously is going Champions League. No, it's Conference League.
no.
But
With Arteta, they'd be in the Conference League.
my top 3 would be I'm Brendan Rodgers,
Uh-huh.
David Moyes, and Pep Guardiola.
Yeah.
All due respect to Klopp and everything, but Ole's done brilliant,
Mhm.
but he's on par.
yeah.
He's not above par.
Mm.
Klopp is on par as well.
Mm.
Just because they made up for something negative earlier doesn't make them great, right? But if you look at what's his face? If you look at David Moyes,
Mm.
you look at West Ham, you look at Brendan Rodgers, you look at Leicester City, both of them going to Europa League, right? And you look at Guardiola winning the Premier League, it has to be one of these 3.
Mm.
For me, more so it's between the two teams of West Ham and Leicester.
Yeah.
But it's, the more I think about it, the more clear it gets. It has to be the Scotsman. It has to be David Moyes.
Yeah. We were talking about it in the other podcast, and I completely
Agree.
agree. I would have gone for David Moyes. And the reason for that is Pep Guardiola, Brendan Rodgers, they played 1, 2, 3 formations this season. Moyes didn't do that. He played 6, 7, 8 systems during different periods due to injuries or just, whatever it was. And I understand that usually when top teams play, they play to their own system. And when you're a manager of a smaller team, you have to accommodate. You have to set up for your opponent rather than for your own strengths. But just the way he's done it, just with the personnel that he has, I think Lingard, what a master stroke of a signing that was.
I mean, just going back, right? This is the same guy that had 0 goal contributions in 2018 or 2019. Full 1 year, 0 goal contribution.
Hasn't been playing for how long now?
I think he's just had a couple of games before, the media would say, like, he has a fallout with Mourinho.
Yeah.
And then, like, Ole comes in, and then they say, like,
always,
he's
painting,
injured.
and
then he came out and said, like, he was pretty, struggling with mental health. So now he's just bounced back to be the great player he is.
Jesse Lingard, another phenomenal player who was not mentioned here because half a season.
Consistency.
Yeah.
Also, J-Links, you're also welcome on this.
Yeah.
podcast.
I think out of all the names, he would be the one I'd want to hear the most.
You can come here and Millie Rock.
Yeah. So there you have it. Do we need to pick a manager for the bench? An assistant manager. How's that? Assistant manager.
No, that's disrespect to the managers. I feel like
imagine Pep being David Moyes.
Yeah, that doesn't. So just to review quickly, my team.
Yeah.
Edison, Fofana, Ruben Diaz, Shaw. Souček, Bruno Fernandez, Kevin De Bruyne, and Son. And then Mahrez, Rashford, and Kane.
And my team would be Schmeichel, Soufal, Fofana, Ruben Diaz, Luke Shaw. Then I'd have Conte, Bruno Fernandez, and Kevin De Bruyne. Mason Mount, Son, and Kane. And you know what? Those are two very, very good lineup.
But my team beats yours.
No. I was just heading here. Who do you think would win?
My team beats yours.
Your team,
easy.
Your right wing back is Bruno, and your left wing back is Son.
They're not wing backs. You don't understand.
Who's gonna defend then? You have 3 defenders and Souček, 4 defenders.
That's more than enough.
That is not more than enough.
It's Souček. Look at Bruno Fernandez. He's gonna press. Look at Kevin De Bruyne. He's gonna press.
And
I play a super high line. You don't understand.
Your defenders are on the opposition box. That's how high your line is.
I'd make Souček fall back when attacking. So it turned into a 4 in the back.
Okay, clever.
All right, and then it's just
extremely clever. I still think my team wins. Oh, come on.
Just because you have 4 defenders, like.
And I have Conte, like that automatically. When your team has the
5 defenders.
6. I have 6 defenders. So. Conte's 2 players.
Who is your manager?
David Moyes. Same manager.
I thought my Scotsman would outsmart yours. But then again,
I didn't pick Sam Allardyce, the other Scotsman. Why not? I'd change my team. I'd have Walker, Cancelo, Stones, Diaz, Fofana, Shaw, Chilwell, and of course Sam Allardyce is my coach. A big tall man. Does Peter Crouch still play? I'd put him forward.
Cosmopolitan.
Or if we were Harry Redknapp, have Nico Kranjčar just come into the team, as always. What a player.
Harry Redknapp, how's he doing?
I have no idea.
Is he managing?
No, I don't think so. I keep hearing him on like radio shows and whatnot. Yeah.
I think he's like semi-retired.
Yeah. Like Roy Hodgson, I guess. Oh, also retiring today. Well, semi-retiring.
Retired.
Retired. He said, I'm going to take a year away from football and then decide my future. Like Pep Guardiola in 2012, basically.
Well, at that time he had an offer from Manchester City. Roy Hodgson said, he's coming to Madrid.
Well, Zidane is leaving.
He is.
So,
Sad.
and
Well-
there you have it. Sorry, you go on.
Well, thank you all for watching, and like Umar said, there you have it. And thank you for tuning into the team of the season for the two correspondents of the Sixth League podcast. I hope you enjoyed it very much, and let us know what your
Team.
nominees and team of the seasons look like down in the comment below. Anything else, Umar?
Like, comment, subscribe, share. Tuchel says relax.
Two of us says relax, and you'll hear from us.
That was